Hello guys, let's begin with another important topic. The name of the topic is photosynthesis. We'll be doing it in two or three parts. First part today we'll be talking about the basics, all the basics regarding the photosynthesis I'll be talking about. A very warm welcome from Spice Up Your Biology. Let's begin with a new lecture. Photosynthesis is a very important uh, metabolic pathway which occurs in the plants and some of the other algae few bacteria. So they have ability to convert the sunlight. The sole source of energy on this planet is the sun, and only the few organisms, plants, algae, and certain bacteria, they have ability to convert. They have ability to transduce that energy, the solar energy, into the biochemical or the chemical energy, from where it energy goes to the every single organism on this planet. So plants are going to be very important for this regard. Another thing is that not the entire part of the solar radiation which is coming on the earth will be utilized by the plant. It is just the visible range, which roughly begins from the 400 to 700 nanometer, a little more here and there. That is the range where the plant will be able to use it up, or the algae is going to be using it in order to produce the product. The product in the end is going to be glucose, that is a source of energy, and excess of the glucose will be converted in the form of the starch, or in the animals, this glucose, excess of the glucose will be converted into the glycogen as a storage food material. So another important thing is that just the basics I told you, that these plants, they evolve in such a way that the autotroph, they have mechanism to convert, to transform the solar energy into the biochemical energy. So as I told you, the plants, bacteria, and certain protists, which includes as a part of the five kingdom system, they can use the sunlight in order to produce the energy. Now, how exactly this is going to happen? Look at this process in the little, uh, brief. Light energy is going to be harvested by the plant and other photosynthetic autotrophs. You can see over here. The basic thing they require is the carbon dioxide and water. In the process, like the oxygen and water also is going to be evolved. Oxygen is the one of the component which keeps life existing on this earth. So this is the basic reaction which is happening, and this CO2 is going to be reduced in the form of the sugar. So this is the end product which will go to the different trophic level, or they will constitute the food web as well. Now this is the food chain where you can see the different energy part will go from the as we know the 10% law. It will go from the plant to the herbivore, to it will go to the herbivore to the carnivore, then the top carnivores, and then the other hand, like there'll be detritus cycle which will be operating. So this is how the process is going to happen. You can see over here. So you can see the plant, and from there the grasshoppers and other herbivores and the carnivores, they will take up the energy, and this is how it is going to be distributed, and they might form the food web in order to stabilize the ecosystem. You can see, like, the imaginary ecosystem that we create is not confined to the one system. There'll be several ecosystem will be operating at the same time, and one uh, the food chain organism will might attack on the other, and hence a food web is going to be created. The more is the food web, or the stronger is the food web, the stable an ecosystem is going to be. And this is the range I was talking about, the visible range, which will begin roughly in the range of 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. All the seven colors shown over here, which is a part of the visible light. You can see over here. This is a very small region, to be precise, 380 to 760, and which is being utilized by the all the organism. Now the question is that why plants look green. Simple answer is that, anything which look color is that, it is absorbing all the seven color and, reflecting the one which we are able to see. Suppose something which is looking green, that means it is absorbing all the other color and reflecting the green one. Hence, it is going to be green. And again, another thing is that, the color is because of the pigments, or maybe the D block elements, which is having the black, uh, the empty d orbital where the electron can be transported and the color will be produced. Otherwise, the pigments, which are the organic molecule having the multiple double bond, in order to produce the delocalization of the electron, will give off the different color. You can see over here different color. So the seven color which is falling on this animal, which is having the male cardinal, which is having the carotenoid pigment, and this is how it is going to be absorbed the light which is reflected. So you can see all the seven light will be absorbed and only the red is going to be reflected out. This is how it is the color appearance is going to be. Similarly, the plant looks green, same the because it is reflecting the green because it has a pigment chlorophyll. Now why are the plants green again? So plant is green because of they have a chloroplast which contains the pigment molecule we call as a chlorophyll. They do have other molecule as well, that is the called as carotenoids, which is having the carotene and xanthophylls, which are also a kind of uh, doubly bond structures, which can also give rise to different color. So all these orchestra is created in order to absorb the light in a huge spectrum. So every color of the light should be absorbed in order to produce the sugar. So it is going to be more efficient system in that way. If you see the structure of the chloroplast, you can see over here, these are the grana, which is made up of thylakoid membrane. On that, the chlorophylls are basically located onto the membrane of these structures. So light which is falling over is going to be transmitted, and the light which is reflecting back is green in color, and they have ability to convert the solar light or solar energy into the chemical energy. This is what happened. You can just look at over here. So this is the leaf structure where exactly this process is going to happen. We have the CO2, which is an inorganic molecule. We have the water, again inorganic, in the presence of sunlight, and they have the chlorophyll present over there, and there are several enzymes which convert this into the glucose, and oxygen is going to be released, which is the main source, the pranvayu for all the other animals. See what happened. If you look at the photosynthesis, I told you in the beginning, I'm going to keep it in a very basic way. So there'll be two kind of reaction which will be operating in the chloroplast. One is the dark reaction, another is the light reaction. Light reaction, you can just compare this with the solar panel, which is absorbing the sunlight and producing the electricity. Same thing is going to happen in the biological system, but with more efficiency. The efficiency is going to be somewhere around 75% or more. So in that case, the light is going to be absorbed by the chlorophyll molecule, and this is going to finally get converted into the ATP and the NADPH. These are the reduction potential, and this will be used in the next step, that is the dark reaction or the Kelvin cycle, depending upon the plant. Kelvin cycle is going to be must for every plant to have. There can be certain variations in the fixation, that could be the C4 or the CAM, but at the bottom of this, the Kelvin is always going to be there. This is also called as the C3 cycle, where exactly the CO2 is going to be fixed. And this fixation requires energy, and that energy is going to be provided by the ATP and NADPH, which is formed during the light reaction. So the site of photosynthesis is going to be chloroplast. The light reaction will be operating on the thylakoid membrane, and dark reaction will be operating in the stroma, which is the matrix of the chloroplast. Okay. So this is where they are going to be present. They are going to be present in the leaf, especially, or green plant, in some cases in the stem, and where all these processes going to occur. There'll be absorbing the light, converting them into the utilizable form of the energy, that is the ATP and the NADPH. And later on, this energy will be utilized in the fixing of the CO2 into the glucose. So this is the reduction reaction which is going to take place. So entire, this the reaction of the producing of the ATP and the ADPH is a kind of solar panel, as you told you, where the redox reaction will be operating, and the electron movement is going to be used because it is going to move from the one carrier to the other. In the process, this electron will move. First, the electron is going to be evolved from the specific chlorophyll A molecule, and then it is going to be given downhill. So every step there will be release of the energy. That energy is going to be utilized in the pumping of the H plus ion into the lumen of the thylakoid membrane. So once this proton motive force will be generated, so there'll be a place through which only place through which the electron come is the ATP synthase, and that energy will be utilized in making the ATP and the NADPH. Let's talk about the structure again. You can see the leaf over here. So leaf has the two epidermis. One is the adaxial surface and another one is abaxial. Mostly you see the stomata is present on the abaxial surface or the lower surface, which is the one which can exchange the gases, and the water can be released from here. Further, if you go into the cells, we have the two kind of cells depending upon the kind of leaf it is, so bilateral or it is the kind of the flat leaf. So in that either of the cases, the structure will vary, but most of the dicot will have the dorsiventral one, where we have both the spongy parenchyma and the palisade, the cells, which is the part of the mesophyll, which is basically involved in the synthesis of the uh, the proton will be utilized in making of the ATP and the NADPH. In the process, the Calvin cycle will operate to produce the glucose. There's a certain other pigment, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B. When these two are present together, they'll be always giving the green appearance, but certain color can be masked because of the carotenoids. They can vary from the the yellowish to the oranges. So there'll be many color. Which one is dominating will give the color in the different seasons. This is the chlorophyll molecule A and B shown over here. So the basic structure that I want to see is that the chlorophyll A will have this methyl group, and the chlorophyll B will be having a CHO group over here on this ring, and this is a tetrapyrrole ring, which is a heterocyclic 5-carbon ring, which is being coordinated in the center by the magnesium ion. You can see the cyclic structure having the multiple double bond, and this gives you the color, and they will absorb the color because of the delocalization of the electron. And then we have the tails, which is the phytol tail. So this is how it looks like. You can see this region, this is the pyrrole ring, and this region is the phytol tail. And they have the both way, the absorption spectrum. That means in which color they absorb maximum. You can see over here. So the absorption maxima is going to vary for the chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. If you look at the chlorophyll A, show you the two maxima. One, somewhere around 420 or something. Another one is, in the 600 plus range. Similarly, the chlorophyll B will have a maxima over here. Another maxima is going to be here. And then we have the other pigment. They do have the lambda max at what color of light they absorb maximum. That is called as the absorption spectrum. On the other hand, which range they're going to do the maximum photosynthesis, that is called as the action spectrum. So roughly you'll find that the two peaks shown over here. One is in the range of blue, where the photosynthesis is going to be maximum, and another in the red region. So two color where the maximum photosynthesis will occur is the red and the blue. Now this is what I was talking about. This is the mechanism. The light is going to be fall onto the reaction center or the chlorophyll molecule, which is having a specific chlorophyll A molecule at the reaction center, and these light, the photons, they will the bombarded over the structure, and the energy will be produced. That energy is going to be channelized through the resonance to the reaction center molecule, and that gets activated, that gives rise to the electron, and then the electron will move into the downhill, and the energy is going to be utilized and produced in the process. So you can see the excited state and the ground state that is shown over here, and that energy that is released can be calculated very easily. Now there will be two kind of photophosphorylation. What is the photophosphorylation? It is the production of the ATP in the presence of light. It's called as photophosphorylation. And there'll be two ways it can be synthesized. One is the cyclic, another one is a non-cyclic. Cyclic means cyclic. Let me first tell you that it operates basically more than often in the prokaryotic system, but in the eukaryotic system, it occurs at the several places, especially in the stroma lamellae. You can see over here the electron start from the photosystem 1 and comes back to the same. This is called a cyclic photophosphorylation, where the specific reaction center at the 680 will be operating over here. You can see over here the two types of the photosystem shown over here. When we discuss this in detail, we'll talk about that as well. So you can see the light is coming and the primary acceptor is going to be there, and then this electron finally transferred to the photosystem 1. There'll be two photosystem in the plant. Then this energy is going to be utilized, and you can see the electron is not coming back. That means it is going to be non-cyclic one. If the electron is coming back, it's going to be cyclic one. And this is again can be explained on the basis of the chemiosmotic theory, which is proposed by the Michel, the Peter Michel, who got Nobel Prize for it. And the same process, if you see over here, the photosystem 2, you can see the splitting of the water take place, and hence the oxygen is going to be produced, and this proton will be utilized in making of the proton motive force, which eventually produce the ATP. So the oxygen splitting always occur at the photosystem 2, never at the photosystem 1. This will discuss in detail in the next lecture. Then the light reaction, where we have the products. There will be three products. Two is energy molecules, and one is going to be oxygen. And this energy molecules will be utilized in the Kelvin cycle or the dark reaction. Further, they will be used for the fixing of the CO2 into the glucose. So this is how all the reaction takes place. There's only one proton pump which can be present over here. That is a cytochrome basics F. And this is how the reaction is going to happen over here. So whatever the energy generated in the light reaction will be utilized in the dark reaction. And the sugar, the excess of the sugar will be converted into the starch and may be converted into the sucrose, and from there it will be transported to the other region which is deficient in that can be utilized. So basically, if you see the process which is taking place, photosystem 2, photosystem 1, and then the Kelvin cycle is going to be operated. So the detail of this will be discussing in the next lecture. Hopefully you enjoyed the lecture. For the detail of this photosynthetic process, we'll be seeing in the coming few days, and hopefully you'll be able to see that as well. So thanks for hearing me, and you might have made certain notes as well, and do share and share it with the other people. Subscribe my channel. You'll be getting more in the future. Thanks a lot for my lecture, and just keep your finger crossed for the coming lectures. Thanks.